The Prime Minister has long said, my policy on cake is pro-having it and pro-eating it. So much so he had two on his 56th birthday in June 2020. The first, courtesy of a school in Hertfordshire he visited in the morning.
Happy birthday, dear Minister.
And another when he got back here to the Cabinet Room in Downing Street, the very spot where the COVID rules were signed off. His now wife, Carrie, brought another cake along to a gathering of up to 30 people at around 2 o'clock, which lasted around half an hour. There were sandwiches and picnic food and no discussion about social distancing. But his supporters say...
Well, I think some of these allegations have got a little bit out of hand. I mean, what really happened here is a group of staff, small group of staff who've been working closely with the Prime Minister, brought in a birthday cake at the end of the day, and there was 10 minutes there around sharing a piece of cake. I don't think that really constitutes, a party in the way that some of the other more serious allegations that are being investigated maybe do.
It's yet another get-together to add to the list of do's around Westminster we already knew about. And there were more than a few. Those Conservatives who want Boris Johnson out think this could persuade more to reach the same conclusion.
No one's ever misunderstood the job description of party leader any more than Boris Johnson. This, I think, could well be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Already this week, an allegation of Islamophobia from a former minister, Nusrat Ghani, vehemently denied. The resignation of a sitting minister at the dispatch box in the Lords.
Thank you and goodbye.
And then another revelation about what went on here earlier in the pandemic. And it's only Tuesday. Chris Mason, BBC News.
Well, let's get the very latest now from our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming. So, Adam, we've been talking about the pressure on Boris Johnson for days now, haven't we? Where does this sit in all the other allegations that we know about so far?
I think the biggest piece of breaking news in Chris's report there was that it's only Tuesday. So I think the thing about this revelation about the birthday party is the symbolic effect and the symbolic value of it, because it reminds everybody what they were and were not able to do at that point. So it might make people feel a bit more strongly about the whole party gate thing. I don't get the impression it has changed many minds amongst Conservative MPs who hold Boris Johnson's fate in their hands. What I think is really interesting, though, is I think it marks a new phase in how the government and Number 10 are handling all of this. We've gone from the stage where they were denying things were happening. We then went into the stage where they said it's okay for people to be really angry. We're angry too. Then we had the stage where they said wait for that report by the senior civil servant Sue Gray into all of this so you've got the facts. Now, last night, we saw a much more kind of muscular response from the government. We saw ministers saying, nope, it wasn't 30 people, it was more like 10 people. We got a tweet from the Culture Secretary, Nadine Dorries, saying, is this what we're defining as a party now? And you've got Number 10 saying, admitting that it happened, but kind of pushing back a bit and trying to interpret it a lot more. And I think that points towards what the strategy from Number 10 and Boris Johnson might be when we get that report, which is to quite strongly put their side of the argument and try and defend it all. And also at the same time, you've got much more of an operation to support the Prime Minister amongst the Conservative Party ramping up behind the scenes. Although having said all of that, once that report from Sue Gray comes out, and we still think it could be towards the end of this week, and all of this is put in black and white, actually maybe people's views will harden and the situation could get worse for the Prime Minister.